So, 2 vitolas left. I continue, I write, however, the brand was given CPR, so to speak, by the great acceptance and even passion in some cases for regional edition cigars. There are 9 so far made for El Rey, the first being produced in 2007. 9, which by far not the most made for any one brand, but again, you know, a lot more than, say, a brand with only 2 vitolas left, like La Gloria Cubana, for instance. They only have 4 regional editions. So, oddly enough, it is the only other brand, again, similar to La Gloria Cubana, that has a regional edition Cuba that was just released this past year, the Infantes, a 50 by 4.9 inch Robusto, available in boxes of 10. Well, not really available because people went fucking nuts and bought up every box they could. You know, funny thing is, I mean, if I was, here's the thing. You're releasing a regional edition Cuba. You know collectors are going to want these things and they're going to be after them and they're going to hoard them. You know, make it like the La Gloria. You should, first of all, at least boxes of 25. You know, make them spend a little money. Putting them in boxes of 10 makes them affordable for everybody. Now people who really, you know, El Rey Del Mundo fans who really want a box can't fucking get them because people out there buy 30, 40, 50 boxes and sit on them for 5 years and then say, here's those boxes that were never available, and charging, who knows, $1,000 a piece for 10 fucking cigars. That sucks. That really sucks. I'm kind of angry about that. I wasn't even able to get a box of Infantes, you know, and that's saying something. I still have a few people looking, and eventually I'm sure I'll be able to get one. But you know, when the La Gloria jar first came out, regional edition Cuba, and the jar was only like, I don't know, $550, $600 when it first came out, nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck. It wasn't until a little down the line, you know, La Gloria Cubana craze everybody starts getting crazy, buying boxes of buying up all the aged boxes of Metal de Oros and everything. It became, you know, it was always a connoisseur's brand, and then it became a collector's brand, and then the jar became impossible to get, even if you wanted to spend $2,000, which it now goes for at auction. But that's what I would have done. In fact, if it were me, I would have made an El Rey Del Mundo jar. Why not? It's a regional edition Cuba. There is no El Rey Del Mundo jar. It would be fucking beautiful, great for collectors, great for connoisseurs, great for people who love El Rey Del Mundo, great for the fucking brand, which is dying. You know, so that's what I would have done. Instead, they released these little dinky boxes of 10 fucking cigars each, which I hear actually aren't even that fucking good, or at least one half of them. I don't know which, either the first half, I think the first half weren't that good, and then the higher numbers started to get better. But, whatever. So, another similarity with La Gloria Cubana, the only other brand to hold a regional edition Cuba at this time. As a side note, there was an Aniversario Humidor released in 2004 for this brand's 120th anniversary. Only 220 were made, containing 50 cigars of 2 vitolas each, a Pyramid and a Churchill, or Taino they called it, which was awesome for El Rey fans because those types of vitolas haven't existed for a long time and they don't exist now. All you can get, as I said, the Choix Supreme, which is similar in size to this, or the Demitas. Anyway, that's our El Rey Del Mundo history. The name, the Choix de L'epoque. Again, here is where being sumptuous makes an ass out of you and me, right? That's what they say. I hate being cliche, but it's true. The one assumption I had made that embarrassed me the most was perhaps this, when I said Choix de L'epoque meant epic choice. Epoque, epic, epoque, epic, right? No. De l'epoque means of age. And choix, of course, choice. Thank God I was right about that and I didn't choose some other ridiculous thing. But means choice of age, choice of the age to be more specific, choice of the age. L'epoque means the age, de means of, but if you take away, if you put them all together, it translates it as choix, as choice of age. But choice of the age, I believe what it's trying to say is like, you know, wise choice, best choice you can make, that type of thing, choice based on wisdom. something like that. That's what it means. And it's the same shape as a Petit Edmundo, as said before. Factory name Petit is a Petit Edmundo. It is a Petit Robusto, 52 by 110, released in 2009. Blah 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 blah. Very nice, very weedy. The wheat is becoming a little stronger. So is this honey type flavor. Very nice, very nice. Getting a very gentle twang. Has a really, really barny aroma. You know, sometimes when you smell the foot of like a cigar, you get this barn. It actually has that aroma as it's smoking. Very barnyard type aroma. What was I saying? I was talking about production. Okay, the Choix Supreme in comparison is 48 by 127, longer and thinner, and it's factory shape Hermoso number 4, Corona Extra. Here's the thing, the El Rey factory was built in the 1930s where it stands now, okay? I was thinking, where were these produced in 2009? Since 2010, with the close of the Partagas factory, it also now produces Partagas, Bolivar, Ramon Alones, and La Gloria Cubana. So all those brands, including El Rey Del Mundo, are produced at that factory. But then I said, wait a second, in 2005, El Rey was transferred to the Romeo y Juliet factory, and the El Rey Del Mundo factory was converted to produce the antique replica Humidor series. So El Rey Del Mundo was not being produced at the El Rey Del Mundo factory in 2005. I'm not really sure when it moved back, okay? I know that it had to have moved back by now because in 2011 the Romeo and Juliet factory closed down and is to be rebuilt outside of Havana. And the Romeo and Juliet factory was producing, yeah, it even says at that time, 2011, El Rey, Romeo and Juliet, Cuba, Quai d'Orsay, St. Louis Rey. So now that it's closed, I'm sure El Rey is back to the El Rey factory. But what about all these other brands? Romeo and Juliet, Cuba, Quai d'Orsay, St. Louis Rey. They can't all be at the El Rey factory because El Rey is already making 4 or 5 brands: Partagas, Bolivar, Ramon Alones, LGC, and El Rey. So whatever. Anyway, that's the history of the El Rey factory. El Rey factory, with all these factories closing, Romeo and Juliet, Partagas, a lot of the big ones, the El Rey factory still stands where it is since the 1930s. So that is it for history, and I do want to get into a few viewer emails. I'm not going to be able to do as many as I thought I was, but there are always going to be other shows. Let me give you a report on the second third, and as we smoke our final third, we'll talk about a few viewer emails. So a few viewer emails, but our second third, here's where the flavor for me really opened up. Like I said, the first third, a lot of hay, some grassiness, a little hint here and there of cinnamon, honey. As soon as I started getting into the second third, I started getting a lot more flavor from the filler. You know, I got a really gentle type of Cuban twang going on, and a little of what I'm calling white pepper, some peppery flavor and type of, you know, feeling on the tongue. And that has been getting progressively stronger, actually, as I've been going through the second third of the cigar. The hay flavor from the smoke is still there. It has a very barny type aroma, barnyard type aroma. It's just a great cigar. It's a great mild cigar. It, you know, it doesn't have me heady or anything. It's too mild for that, but it does have me feeling fine. You know, so it's not like, oh, mild cigars don't have enough nicotine to make you feel anything. You know, I could smoke a ton of these. I could smoke boxes and boxes and not keel over and, you know, not even get a headache. Which is, you know, saying you'll always be wanting, or it could be a good thing because you can always be smoking. So, I don't know. I like this cigar. I really do. I think it's a great El Rey Del Mundo cigar. You know, a lot of twanginess opening up now in the center of the tongue. The smoke is really warming up, and it's just giving me such big, thick plumes that when I take a draw in, you can feel it kind of splashing off the center of the tongue and giving me this, you know, twangy, salty flavor with these hints of just pepper and a kind of a honey-esque, nutmeggy type, you know, hint of flavor. So very, very, very nice cigar. Let's get in some viewer emails, because as we said before, it's a short cigar and it's burning quickly. Okay. 1. The Commerce Club. I agree with his analysis of vendors. This is regarding the Monte Cristo 2 video. I agree with his analysis of vendors. Joe has too much class to say this, so I will. I don't know about that. I mean, class, but if you use Cigar One, tell them Dr. Joe sent you. He's doing us all a source. It only makes sense to let him get the free cigars that come with sending new customers. Viva Joe. And then somebody else commented to that comment, which is pretty rare, and they agreed. I don't care. I want to let people know right now, they see that comment, they do what they think, what they want to do. You know, I don't care about receiving free cigars either way. I would do this show regardless. I used to get, basically, instead of getting the free cigars, I had a lot of customers, so we tallied them all up value-wise, and I got a discount on a box that I ordered. This was a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe 6 months after I started the original series. Since then, I have not gotten a fucking thing from them. And you know what? They know. People are leaving their names. People are leaving my name. I'm not getting any emails from them. I know that they know that I'm sending people. They don't want to contact me. They don't want to say anything. Well, you know, I've always loved that company. You know how much, you guys out there know how much I promote them and say they're a great fucking vendor. But if they're going to make me come after them and say, hey, I sent this guy, this guy, this guy, and you should be giving me, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to do that. So, whatever. But thank you. Bordigan 07. Fascinating stuff regarding the embargo. I agreed with everything you said, and for all the same reasons. I can't see it being lifted anytime soon either. It's so way more complicated than most people realize. And if it ever happens, things are going to be FUBAR for a long time afterwards. Fucked up beyond all reason, repair, recognition. There are a lot of different versions, but if you're wondering what FUBAR means, that's what it means. Agreed, but before I get into anything, let me, another person, Last of a Dying Breed, I really like how you touched on the embargo. If the embargo was ever lifted, which it won't, it would be bad, very bad. The people that want it lifted are the people that don't smoke Cuban cigars regularly. Okay, very good. So those are 2 people, and there are more, but I picked 2 that I really liked regarding comments on the embargo, which is what I was talking about, that I wasn't even going to talk about that. I never planned to talk about that. It just kind of came up when we were talking about Monte Cristo and Alonso Menendez. And I'm glad it did, because a lot of people enjoyed that. Most people agree with me that it won't anytime soon. When you have 138, 48, I think, I forget, 130 something nations all saying in the United Nations saying, get rid of this fucking thing, and only 2 nations, including the one that has the embargo imposed, are saying keep it, and they keep it anyway, obviously it ain't fucking going anywhere. I mean, you know. And it also obviously shows how this ain't a courtroom. It's just a bunch of suggestions. You know what I mean? We have hundreds of nations, well, let's say 125 nations saying, don't do this, and you fucking go do it anyway, and there are no repercussions. Obviously, it's like a forum for suggestion, which is a joke. It's a joke. You know, I mean, well, in a way it's good. At least it lets one nation know that this nation, that nation will be really pissed at you if you do this or that. But once you become so big that it doesn't matter who's pissed at you, you know, there's that. Can't wait for the oil burner anymore, because this cigar is just going to go. However, I also want to stress what Last of a Dying Breed said. people who want it lifted are people that don't smoke Cuban cigars regularly. I like that point because A, it's true. When you have a person running around going, oh, I can't wait till that embargo's lifted, man, to get those Cuban cigars over here. Well, you know, trust me, the Cuban cigars that'll end up here aren't the ones that we're used to smoking. You don't want that to happen as a Cuban cigar smoker. But I want to make it and stress it a point that when I talk about this, I talk about it from the viewpoint of a Cuban cigar smoker and nothing more. I'm not talking about it from a political point of view. I'm not talking about it, you know, based on how people may or may not be suffering. It's not that I don't care about any of that. It's that this show is not about that and never will be about that. Once you bring politics into something that's enjoyable for a lot of people, it becomes enjoyable for a lot less people and sometimes not enjoyable at all. So, like my family always says, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, no politics at the dinner table, no religion either, no politics on this show. So my view on the embargo only comes, not wanting it lifted, only comes from the mind of a Cuban cigar smoker and nothing more. Because I think, even though this show is not about politics, I will say, I think it is rather ridiculous when only 2 nations on earth want the thing and everybody else says it's a bunch of fucking bullshit, that you don't find a way to, you know, reconcile differences and figure out a means by which we can open up at least some path of change. You know, one of the ideas that I have is this. Maybe not open up all trade routes. Maybe not make, especially right now with what's going on with Russia, you know, and, you know, being that it's 90 miles off the coast of Florida. That's the part that the U.S. doesn't like. Trust me. It's territory right in their backyard that they don't control. That's always a problem. And that's probably the #1 reason they don't want them to get any sort of financial wealth or power or what have you. I think it would be a wonderful thing if at least Cuban cigars were legal in the U.S. if ordered online from an outside source. Yeah, I know the money still, you know, it's busy. It goes back to Cuba anyway. But fuck it. So what? They make a little money off some cigars. If they come from Switzerland, fine. You can't do direct trade with Cuba. But if you can buy from Switzerland, you can buy from Hong Kong, and they're Cuban cigars that they got from Cuba, I don't see a fucking problem with that. Anyway, let's get into another one before we're out of here.